Good morning. Hello. How are we all? Just good morning. Thought I'd come on stream just beforehand, you know. Thanks for the shouts outs in chat. Good to have you with us. So, Statamic. Last week we covered some of the basics. So this week we'll be covering more basics. Let me know how the sound is. I think the desktop audio was a little bit loud last week. I can't hear it at the moment, so do let me know how the levels are. If the music gets annoying, etc., we'll move it forward. All right. It's always a bit of a weird moment trying to kick these off. Is that all good on the sound, Alexia? Vista's Miracle of Sound 38th Street, whatever that is. I hope it's good. We're still with Pretzel, because again I didn't download any DRM music, and so my fan, you might actually be able to hear it on the microphone. I don't know if you can hear it, but fan is going crazy. Alright, so I'm going to stop babbling around and just kick off with it. So one thing I noticed from last week that I forgot was setting up in Git, of course. So I think first things first, we should do that. So I'll pop it on my own Git profile for now. So over on GitHub, new repository, make it public. So do feel free to check in, critique, pop in pull requests, issues. What are we calling it? So we call what do we call the project? Nordev website Statamic. So I guess we'll follow suit. Alright, so yeah, today's plan, going to be touching up on some of those taxonomies, adding categories or tags, as we refer to them on the Nordev website. You can call them whatever you like, I guess, but taxonomies come into play. You can think of them to some extent as the filters, for example, on an e-commerce site. So categories and products, features and stuff could potentially be taxonomies. In this instance, our fairly boring blog, we are just going to be having tags. I think we're going to actually, there is a jobs section, so I think we'll make the locations also a taxonomy, because we don't need too much information around that taxonomy. We can still add fields to taxonomies in Statamic, so there isn't any restrictions in those terms. But anyway, I'm going to get on. Public Statamic version, yep, we don't want to add anything. We'll just create a plain repo. Alright, and we're going to follow these steps here. Oh, and kudos as well to Sean for last month's stream. Been wanting to do this myself for a little while, but as per usual, just kind of get stuck in your own usual stuff. Get stuck. Status quo. I can't think of the words I'm looking for here. But yeah, branching to main, if that's the first push, like he said on his chat. That also works in Bitbucket. I tried it on Bitbucket. So yeah, we can create our main branch instead of our master branch. So git status, nothing in there. So we're going to need to run our. Probably should whack this up. I've actually been using Sublime all week with UI scaling set to 2 or whatever it's set to. It's been an experience. Anyway, so we will get our basic, just creates a Git directory for Git's tracking purposes. Then we will have a little look at what we've got. So I'm not going to add the collections that we do have. I'm just going to add our base install. So we'll add everything, -A, capital A, and then this is going to be a bit crazy. We've got a bunch of roots and partials. To be honest, I might just commit all of this as lesson 1. Does anyone mind if I commit all of this? I wouldn't usually do that. I'd usually break it up into nice discrete commits, but we'll just commit this as episode 1. So we've got everything's added, git commit, episode 1. Big bang, Statamic install, Docker setup, and initial collections. All right. One moment. Let's pop in my pin code for my treasure. My GPG keys are on there. I don't think we're using my SSH key for pushing at the moment, so that's good. The phantom commit message. Good morning, Sean. If you weren't here, thank you for this. Although I'm doing it wrong. It's git branch m main, something like that. Yeah, nice. Capital M though. Didn't realize how easy this was to just do it like that, and then you're done. Nice. Make sure you do it first before you push, and then we'll add our remote origin. In fact, I didn't even realize GitHub had added a comment about it, which is pretty sweet. Anyway, git remote, we'll add our origin, and then we should be good to push. So git push u for setting that origin tracking, origin main. All right, so I'll drop a link to the GitHub repo on the YouTubes. So yeah, feel free to check that out if you so wish. And I will try, if somebody reminds me as well, that'll help, to commit episode 2 later on this afternoon. All right, so we've got our commits done. First things first. So where were we? Where were we indeed? We need to get our Docker image running. So we will start the basenum pwd, as we spoke about before. This is just going to boot up the Docker image by the same name as our current directory image, and so some luck, I haven't got rid of it. Awesome. Oh, and again with this, excuse me. Really need to get in the habit of rebooting before I cleared out a load of apps, cleared a load of software out, but did not stop some images. Bear with. A nice bit of Statamic for breakfast. I mean, I do like Statamic, but I don't think I could recommend eating it, I'm afraid. We're doing eating breakfast at 12 o'clock anyway as lunch, or at least brunch at this point. Do you have a late one, Simon? Right, there we go, cleared up. So I can quit that terminal. All right, Docker PS. We've just got our Nordev Statamic, and it's running at 32768 again. So we'll just pop over there. 32768. Nice. That's an exciting page, isn't it? There is something on it over on the top left-hand corner of home. Sweet. Okay. So we'll pop to CP. Unless you've changed it, of course. You can change it. I'll sign out of there as well. Blimey. Lock that. Sweet. All right. Familiar territory. We've already got an update apparently. Let's have a quick cheeky look. So Statamic will update itself. Don't need to run Composer or anything. Yourself. some fixes. Got any new? We don't think we've got new things. No new things. So anyway, we set up our collection. We set up our posts collection. So now we're going to set up, like I say, some taxonomies. And would you believe, nice and easy, within the taxonomy section here. So we'll create our taxonomy. Again, we're going to be asked for our full name, our title of our taxonomy, and our handle. So what we refer to or it internally. So for our first one, we're just going to call it tags. Create this. This will be our housing for post tags, surprisingly. We won't create a term at this moment. We don't have scaffolding options on tags. We will cover some reasons around that in a moment. That's one of the gotchas. But what we'll first of all do is we're going to configure the collection, our posts collection, to start using this taxonomy. So if we come back to our collections, posts, click our dots on the side here. I mentioned this previously in our previous episode. But down here, in our content model, along with our blueprint, we can select a taxonomy. So we'll link that up now. We'll say that that's using the tags taxonomy, and save. And again with this pop up on the left. Sorry. Anyway, I'll get over that at some point. So now within our posts, we should have automatically a tags drop down on our right hand side here. So we can now either choose from existing tags or create tags. So we'll just create our first tag, example tag. And like I say, you can create as many as you like. Obviously, they are tags. So we'll save and publish this. All right. Okay. So now we have our tags established. We need to start actually displaying them. So we've got a list of tags on our Hello World post. So let's go and visit that now. And you remember the wow, frankly beautiful posts template that we created last week. So if you now come into that, so we'll come into Sublime, and we'll locate the resources directory, views, posts, and then the show template. So this is the the template for our posts. So what I'm going to come in here and do first of all is drop a dump on the page so that we can see those new variables. Hopefully we'll see some new variables anyway. Noticed in the last episode I just completely missed the content field. I should probably cover that whilst looking through here. So here we go. We have a new field, a new property in our post of tags, and within which are two tags, surprisingly. So we can display these now, and most importantly, what we'll be able to do is start linking them together. So we'll be able to start listing out posts that are in a particular category, and we'll show you how to do that as well. So don't need our dump. It's pretty straightforward from this point now. Okay, so we're going to be listing out those tags on our site. Okay. Now, as per usual, I like to basically put everything in a partial. So we're going to use a partial for all of our taxonomies. So we'll create a new partial within our partials directory. Fortunately got my second monitor working. It just decided to work this morning with the laptop. I could not have been happier. So I can actually still see chat, which is good. All right, so in our partials directory, we're going to create a taxonomy listing dot antlers.php. Oh, I'm over on the right as well today, so that you can actually see what I'm typing in those little boxes. All right, so this will be responsible for taking whatever whatever taxonomy we pass it and listing it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to loop over that tags item again. So we're going to need to bring, oh, tell you what I've done wrong here. I was just wondering why my highlighting wasn't working. Don't do what I've just done and do .php. It's .html, very strangely. Antlers.html. It's blade.php and antlers.html. So if we just close this and open it again. There we go, we've got some syntax highlighted. Okay, so we can loop over our tags, and pretty much as with most entities, or when you're looping over entries, you'll get a URL field dependent on whether or not there is it has a mount, basically. So initially, these tags probably won't have a URL because they don't live anywhere yet, and we haven't given them anywhere to live, but we'll show you how to do that in a moment. It's one of the gotchas. It's a little bit magic. Alright, so we've got a tag now around our tags. We probably want them in a list, so we'll stick an li around that, and then don't think there's any particular order to these tags, so we'll make that an unordered list. And now we just need to simply pull in our taxonomy listing partial in from here, in from our posts template. So we'll do partial colon and then taxonomy. Oh, we've done dots below, so we'll stick to that format. Dot listing. All right. Now tab back to our Hello World page, and lo and behold, we have our example and article here. And to be fair, they do have a URL as well. Didn't think that would generate out of the box. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's generating the URL here for each of these, but when you go to them, 404 page not found. So we need to actually establish that. I didn't think they would have generated a URL whilst there are 404, but apparently they do. Guten Abend. What does Abend mean? Good afternoon, I'm guessing? Guten Morgen would be good morning. Guten Abend, I'm going to go with afternoon. Good afternoon, Chris. Yeah, it does. Cool. Yeah, good afternoon. Oh, wait. Does it mean evening? Oh, that's not right. It looks like afternoon. So what's afternoon in German? All right. So, just distracted by German. We need to set these up, and it's quite simple. All you need to do is come into your root level of views, come into your posts directory that goes with your show template for this, and then create a folder by the same name as the taxonomy. So we'll create tags, and then inside of tags we will create show, I'm pretty sure, handlers.html. And then within here we should have access to all of the posts that have been tagged with a particular tag. So this is our show again for a single tag item. So we'll dump in here Morgan's such an angry word for Morgan. Morning. Yeah, it feels kind of like grumpy. You could quite easily say Guten Morgen. You know, it's quite. Whereas good morning. How do you say good morning grumpily? Don't know. Anyway, all right. We're going to dump on our taxonomy page. So if we click through from our example now, we should get a dump. Fantastic. So that's all you need to do to set up that URL. And then within here, we should have our title, so our whatever the slug is in this instance. And actually, no, we won't have. What we can load on here, oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Till a light, it's right here. So now we have access to the entries, and within those, you'll see apparently enough stuff in order to get the entries tag to work. But this will render out, yeah, look, it's a query builder, so it's all been configured with the, you should have anyway, taxonomies, where's, here we go, tags : example, there we go. So that's all been configured and ready to be called upon so that it can render just the entries that have this tag. So let's render those, let's get those going. Let's just quickly catch up on chat. My presence definitely doesn't derail these streams. It makes it fun though, it makes it feel like there's people there, you know. There is nothing worse than, I don't know if I'll ever get used to this, to be honest, just kind of literally staring at nothing. And hear Mez, my partner, tapping through in there. She must think I'm crazy, sat through a chat away. Anyway, where were we? I mean, that did kind of derail, but I derailed myself there. So we're on posts tags. We have a title for our post, and this is just going to be our example. And what we have done throughout the site, you nearly spotted me do it accidentally there, is we've been using hashtags in front of our events. So we'll just pop a hashtag in front of our slug there, so we get a listing with our hashtag, and we'll just do the same with our title there. And then we can pull out what is listed. So, as I said to you, we have this entries field here. That goes hand in hand with the entries tag. So if we pop entries here, great. I tell you what, that search is not great. Lists, templates, tags. Click the tags link. And in here, do you know what? Tell a lie. In here we do not have it. So I thought this was a tag. I'm beginning to realise it's not a tag. It's only ever just available on the screen. Bear with. I've got issue. I need to format my laptop. Basically, you're gonna have to bear with me. Jump from there to there. Are we still alive? No. Alright, are we still there? Can you still hear me? I'm staying. Is it frozen? Oh no, we're alive, we're alive, we're alive. Awesome. Every so often my some kind of overlay just basically pops up on top. Are you saying no, can't hear you? Can you hear me now? It's flickering away on OBS. Oh, this is horrible. Can hear you. I can hear. Right, sweet. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Every so often I get an overlay or something pops up on my screen and means I can't click on anything. It's just like this invisible overlay. The only way to get rid of it is to kind of re-render my window manager. I really need to format my laptop. But backing up is taking ages. Anyway, right. We've got our show. We are going to use the entries to loop over the entries that are on this page. And then what we can use is our preview. I was trolling, can't know, you asked if we can hear you, the answer. Hilarious, yeah, okay. I see what you did there, Chris. Go away. Gonna take a sip of coffee. Right, we're using entries here to get all of our posts out, which is why, again, I use a partial and a posts preview partial. So over here we set up our posts preview partial, and now we will just consume it again here to render it out. So partial, posts/preview. Oh, we're doing dots apparently. That's the consensus we've gone with. Posts preview, and this will use the values title and URL that are being provided via entries tag. So with some luck, we should now get, there we go, our hello world post from our example tags. So we should probably put this in a list, an ordered list, and wrap it with some list items. Oops. All right. We have a hello world post, which will go back to hello world, and we can click example and go back to hello world. Excellent. Article works as well. So those are our taxonomy pages, and they're being established at posts/tags/article, or whatever your taxonomy term is, or your taxonomy slope. Perfect. So we have our taxonomy set up. Now, unless there's any questions around that, we will move swiftly onto the world of assets and the amazing glide tag, which allows you to generate responsive images, cropped images, and all sorts of other awesome features. So we have our post, our hero image here, and we've allowed them to basically upload whatever image they like. So one thing we'll cover first is our assets within Statamic. So assets can be, well, they come in a container. Your container is hooked up to a storage driver of some description, which allows you to use any of the storage drivers available from Laravel. So if you would like, you can have assets that are stored in S3. You can have assets that are stored in over FTP if you like. I don't think I'd condone that. You can have them on a remote drive, and you can have them on pretty much, like I say, anything that Laravel supports. It will give you the same access to it. It will all appear here. You might just find that if it's on an S3 bucket or on FTP, it might be a little bit slow for the first time it loads, but it will start caching stuff, and it will use the storage directory to a certain extent to cache anything that you've rendered via Glide, so that it doesn't have to go off to S3 again. But when using assets, and specifically with S3 assets, it comes hand in hand with some stuff we're going to cover at the last episode, Git. So Statamic handles Git incredibly well. It has an integration, a built-in integration with Git, allowing a front end, your client or an end user, to package up any changes that they have done throughout the control panel into a Git commit, and Statamic will handle committing it, pushing it back to your repo if you wish, and then you can use CI, of course, to roll it out. So quite regularly, what you could quite easily do, is set up a staging site with a full-on control panel, full-on Statamic setup, and then your production site you would use without a control panel. And then you could get your staging server to, as upon updates to it, push those to Git, and then you'd use some kind of CI to then push from that Git to the production version, basically. Yeah, the Git integration is really cool, and I hope that is definitely something we're going to cover in the last episode. Yes, yeah, I'm going to go through that in episode 4 with. Well, basically, if I don't get to it by then, because I've sat here chatting about it, I'll just reload it, and we're just going to do Git, because that is one of the awesome parts about Statamic. The fact that everything is flat file makes it a hell of a lot easier to handle. Anyway, we do need to glide along. So, assets. We're not going to bother setting up S3. Just accept or believe me when I say you can quite easily add an S3 driver and switch out assets to work with S3 instead. What we are going to do is set up some folders within our assets. So I am going to set up a folder for posts, and we're going to jump the gun a little bit, and we're going to set up, while we're here, a folder for jobs, a folder for magazines. I think that's it, isn't it? Jobs, posts, magazines. There are 3. Let's have a quick look. NorfolkDevelopers.com. We've got posts, we've got jobs, we've got magazines. Pretty sure that's it. Everything else can live in the root of the assets. So now we've got these, and what we can do is we can start, I mentioned it in the last episode, but we can start restricting people to these particular folders, and ensuring that, you know, magazine content only gets uploaded to magazine directory and stuff like that. But first of all, let's go to our, no, we need to go to our blueprints. We need to come to our posts blueprint. And we'll need to change our hero image so that it pulls in from our restricted folder. So down here we selected the container previously, and I skipped over these 2 options. If we select a folder here and choose posts, they will then only they begin browsing here, so it will drop them into the posts directory. If you would like them to only ever be able to get to the posts directory and only ever upload and choose from the posts directory, check the restrict option, and now that is the only place they're going to be able to source images from and upload images to. So we'll save that. We'll save this as well, and we'll go across to posts and back into our Hello World post. Now this still is set up, but it's against the rules. But it's okay. It'll just mean the next time we do it, we're not going to be able to pick this image, this building websites one here. But what we do want to do is start rendering it. So we are going to use, I've lost control of my top bar again. Damn it. We're going to use Glide, manipulating images on the fly. And this is awesome. You've got 2 options. You can either use it inline like this and dump it into your source of your image, or my preference is towards the tag pair, because this allows you to extract the width and the height that it finally chose. So if you're using so Glide allows you to crop and resize your images. If you're using just a width parameter, for example, it will automatically determine the height dependent on the aspect ratio, of course, which means you no longer know what the height is going to be. If you use the tag pair, like they've done here with just a single width declaration, a single width attribute, they will then provide you with the final height so that you can drop that in your image source tag, so that you get the benefit of those being the right size. The whole page doesn't resize as the images are loading, this, then the other. So we will grab our copy of our tag pair here, and we're going to come into show antlers.html for our post. So posts, and then show antlers.html. And we'll need to render our hero. So it is stored in, I believe, a variable just called hero. So we will paste in our glide image tag and finish our glide colon image here. Now the colon image is actually just passing in the variable it should work with. We nearly did this a moment ago with the mount, but it doesn't work quite the same with that. We will pass in the hero image, and we will tell it we want a 720 pixel wide variant of that hero image. And then we can simply, as it did in the guide, in the instructions there, pass these. I can't remember what height is off the top of my head, but we will pass in, sorry, not the height, the source. We'll pass in height, and we'll pass in width from our, oops, forgot the quotes again. Okay, so just need to check what source is defined as. Looks like it's URL. That's good. Copy that out and pop that in source. Okay, I'll save this. Can't scroll. Refresh our article, and bingo, we have an image. That simple, that easy. If we inspect our image, you probably can't see that. Let's zoom it in a bit. You're going to see it's got a crazy URL with the width and any other encoding built in. That's been cached, rendered, done. So that first load of the image might take a few more microseconds, but from now on it's good. Do you think there's any SEO impact on that graphic name? No. I mean, I'm not somebody to ask those questions. I'd imagine Mark Cook will give you a better answer, but I wouldn't have thought so. It would come down to the alt tag of the image and the content around that image. And also recently, I think, again, Mark, he does SEO tips on LinkedIn. I highly recommend you follow them. I think it's weekly. I want to say daily, but I think it's weekly. A weekly SEO tip, and I think I saw one of his most recent tips was that Google actually understands, because Google have got AI that understands images now. They'll extract objects and stuff out of this image, so they'll have extracted that somebody's sat at a computer desk, I should imagine here, and then will allow you to search based on those. I understand anyway, but like I say, I am not the person to talk to about this. Mr. Williams Cook, sorry. Yeah, hit him up. The Tapper Boy, however he is called on Discord. Cool. So yeah, we've got our URL, nice long encoded URL here. For some reason it's selecting URL, anyway. And our height has been automatically defined here. So nice number of 403 there, because that's what works in aspect ratio. So one thing I want to show you is, this is going to be a bit awkward because what I didn't do was experiment with this beforehand and find some variables under which this would work. There is a great deal of attributes that you can pass to the glide tag. At the moment I can't click on the top part of here, which is why this is being a bit awkward. I can do it using my scroll wheel apparently. One of those is this, and it is amazing. Whenever you use glide, pass fit equals crop underscore focal to the glide parameters. Oops, that's not, I wanted to copy that, please. There we go. And what this will do is, well, as it says, really, crop within focus. So if we come into our control panel, and again, can't click up there at the moment. If we come into our control panel and hit edit on this image here, we'll get a bunch of information about it. And one of those options down here is to set a focal point. If you tap this, maybe because I haven't put a point on it yet. Okay, that's weird. So I don't know why this is broken. It hasn't set an image. That's very strange. So if you'll excuse me, um, these should be several versions of this image having been cropped using a focal crop. So once I point my little dot, if you can see this, I can zoom in. I think you can see. I can't zoom in at the moment either. I can't even click. My laptop, like I will format it this weekend. Can't zoom in. No. Zoom in over here. No. Completely useless to me right now. All right. Sorry about this, but there's a little dot here. If you can see it. I can't see. Yeah, you can just about see it. It's on his chair here. Look, I'll move it around. It might be able to see it. But this sets the focal point of the image. Once I've set a focal point and hit finish, and then hit save, with some luck, I should be able to recreate what you were meant to see a moment ago on the last screen here. So, if we now refresh this, it's going to be the same image, but if we make it ridiculously if we make it very small, with some luck, or actually if we add a height variable and make it really tall and really wide, there we go. And you'll notice it's picked out the chair rather than the center of the image. So if we go back into our assets this time, you can get it obviously from a few places. Hopefully it will work when we load it from assets. No. Don't know. Very strange. So now we'll say that the text over here is the focus point, and if we finish that and save and go back, scroll, there we go, and refresh. Now this is our focal point. So it's a really handy little built-in feature of Glide. There are a range of filters and parameters you can pass to it. Rotating, the quality of the image. I've seen some really nice. Am I with you? I think I'm back. Possibly. Yeah, I've got a green light. Sorry, apparently the internet just decided to disappear for a little bit. But there's a bunch of parameters in here that you can set to get quality, orientation of the image, the format that you want the output, and there's a bunch of filters as well, so you can add a blur, set a background color for if the image is transparent, pixelate it, all sorts. So you can do a range of things with really low quality blurred placeholder images, and then once the page is finished loading, provide them with a really high quality, a 100 quality non-blurred version of it. So what you could do, for example, is come in here and let's do that. So we'll reduce that down to 720 again, and we'll say blur, and I think it's a number 0 to 100. Yeah, so we'll add a blur effect of 50, and we'll say we want a quality of 10. And now we're going to get a hopefully very low quality blurry version of that same image. With some luck. Thinking about it. There we go. That looks hideous. Wow. May want to increase the blur. That just looks like a really bad version from YouTube or something. That doesn't look any better. But you get the idea. You can experiment with those to your heart's content, and use something like the picture tag, for example, to load those for them. Is it picture or is it source set? I don't know, sorry, you'll have to excuse me, I'm not the greatest front-end developer. But I'm pretty sure it's picture with a bunch of source sets and an image is defined as a fallback. I've looked up to see Simon has said yep, but because there's no timestamp, I think that's yep to mean coming back, right? Not dropping out. But get the idea. You could be generating your mobile optimized images here as well. You could also generate your OG image using Glide. The options are somewhat limitless. There is a comment about this. Yeah. And how would you generate the mobile images if PHP doesn't know what device is being used? Sorry if noob question. How would you generate the mobile images if PHP doesn't know what device is being used? I mean, you don't really know what device anybody is using from a PHP standpoint, so you would usually go for a sensible default, a sensible size. Did I misunderstand what you just said? No? Just talking about responsive image source sets, basically, Simon. So generating, I think it's the picture tag. You can do it with, oh, I was able to click a plus then. Can I click over things? Yep, suddenly I can click up here now. Picture tag with source sets. Here you go. Like so. So you add a picture tag with a source to which you can then add a media query to. So if their device is a minimum width of 800 pixels, then load the 240 by 200 surfer. And then usually you would define a fallback. So I'm pretty sure this is the fallback anyway. Yeah, that could, yeah. So we could just copy this in, right? And like so. And say if we're talking about large devices right now, then we're going to probably want the larger image. This is where you'd probably use the inline version of Glide. Oops. So we say Glide, hero. We want a nice big hero image. So we'll go for a Glide hero width. I'm pretty sure I can use those quotes inside here. It doesn't matter. This is going to turn around and bite me in the arse now. Glide hero width 1200 pixels, and then a fit crop focal. We'll want a backup image, so we'll probably just use the mobile version for a backup image. Glide hero. Although, to be honest, out of all of the devices, it's probably going to be a desktop that's going to fall through onto this image, but we will go with a width of say 320 pixels for assuming they're only ever having our website landscape. Portrait. Like so. And then we'll have a mobile one as well. Min width 320. And we'll copy this in as well. This is probably literally making people turn in their graves. Turn in their graves. It's probably making people feel quite sick watching me write this hideous source set and front end stuff, but you get the idea. Oh, well, I'm not getting the handlers versions of those. Can't even remember what they are. There are antler comments. Can't remember what they are. Right. Hello world. Refresh. And now there we go. So it's made a selection for that much larger image there and loaded the 1200 pixel version rather than the 320. Although it looks like, yeah, no, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, you could use it to build up your responsive source sets like so. Any other questions around Glide? Is everyone sold on it? Everyone looking amazing about it? None of this regenerate thumbnails because I decided I wanted to add another image size. Just add it. Don't worry about it later. I have shown the focal point thingy in control panel, but it seems to be broken for me. I don't know why it's broken. Set the focal. Look. Any ideas, Simon, why this is broken? That doesn't even seem to console. Yeah, it doesn't even error. Yeah, probably. It's like it doesn't even load the image into that at all. There's no image even loaded on this page. It's like it's just forgotten to. It's very strange. No idea. It worked the last time I looked. I guess I raise it as a bug and we'll find out what happens. So yeah, sorry about that. Oh, it's got a little place for an alt text as well, and this should be available in the tagged versions. In the so if we go website, it's become too easy. I lost my mouse. I can't click anything. Excellent. Oh. Am I still moving at least? Yeah, laptop hasn't died. Just my mouse. Excellent. Uno momento. I will format this laptop at the weekend. There we go. We're back. Hello. Hello. Sorry about that. Right, so I can now hit save. And we should have an alt tag available to us on the front end. Let's have a quick look. So if we bring back our original way of doing our glide there. Now what you could also do is if you are doing this stuff, chuck it in a partial. Give it the image that the partial needs to render in all of its glory, and then prop it. We should have a alt tag field in here. If we dump. Excuse me. There it is right here. Alt. Building websites has become too easy. So now we can load in our alt into there as well. Because it's best practice. You should always have an alt tag on your images. If you haven't, just leave the stream right now and go fix it. Alt tag on a really blurry image. Cool. All right then. So alt equals image without an alt tag. Cool. Next. I think, to be honest, the next step is to basically flesh out some of these collections. So we need to flesh out the two more collections that we've got and get our templates in place for those. So we've got our jobs and we've got our magazines. So let's have a quick look at jobs. Front-end developer role at Example Studios. Go, apply now. That email address is actually our email address. Don't apply now. Alright, so we've got a title, as always. We've got a location, we've got a salary, we've got a seniority field, and an application link, and then a content area. So let's build it out. It's gonna be nice and quick, nice and easy. Let's smash through this. So collections, create a collection. Jobs, create a collection. Then we're going to scaffold our resources, as we did before. We don't need our index template, so we're going to remove that. And we're going to create our resources. Perfect. We're going to jump over to our blueprints first of all to flesh out the fields for our jobs. Perfect. We'll keep our sidebar. And we will bring in our bard field. So we're going to link existing, link to a field set, link to our bard, link, done. And now what else did we need? So we need a location and a role. These we're both going to make taxonomies, so we'll leave those. We need a salary, a seniority, and I think this is our expiry date, so when they're hoping to get a person by, although these days expiry dates seem somewhat counterintuitive. Alright, so a field set for our salary. We will just have a basic text field. Once I see it, here we go. So our text field, and we'll call this salary. And we will show by default on this one. We don't need a placeholder. If we wanted to update our type, although to be honest, to a certain extent, most of these types are available as a particular. What on earth is weak? Never seen weak as an input type. Anyway, conditions, no. Validations, yes. This is a required field. So we'll salary in. We'll drag that probably up as well. We will want to have our next field. Does anyone remember what it is? My memory is appalling. We'll want our expiry date, for which we can use our date field. And we will show by default. We only want a single date, we don't want a date range. We don't need times on it, so we won't put a time on it. The earliest date though, and let's not make it 1900, we will make it 2020 0101. Don't need to format it, we'll format it ourselves. Oh yes, and you can select kind of the amount of calendar columns, how many months you're showing. But this will do me, I think. Just a simple field for now. We're going to make it required. And finished. Again, drag this up. It's going to get annoying. Third and final field. Possibly a final field. I think is our apply now. So this will just be a URL. I guess we'll use one of the URL text fields. I don't know what one of those looks like. So text. Apply or application link. We don't need to see that by default, but we will pick URL as a input type. Conditions? Nope, but validation is it's required. Drag that one up as well. Awesome. So I think that's our main fields that we'll need for filling out this. We have our title. We've got, did we put a seniority? I don't think we put a seniority in, did we? No, we did not. So for seniority, we could either go with a select box and make them pick. In fact, let's do that just for the sake of seeing some of the other fields. Where is the select box? There it is. So we'll do seniority, hidden by default. Yeah, I think so. And then with a select box and quite a few other fields, you'll have an add option to which you can just add a key here. So we'll go junior, mid, and senior. Seniority in the senior. Senior. Allow multiples? No. max items. We don't need to set that because we don't have multiples. We don't want clearable because this is a required field, but this is a lovely option to have for a select box. So many select boxes appear without the ability to clear them once you've picked it. Searchable? No, I don't think so. We've only got 3 options. We don't want additions, and we don't want to cast our booleans. So this is us. We have a seniority select field. We will make it required, which is why we don't need the clearable option. So finish and drag that up here. So we're also going to make this a little less tall. I think these 3 fields here can sit next to each other. So on the right hand side here, you've got some very basic width settings, and it just goes between 25 and 33. So you 33, 66, or 50, or whatever. We'll make our title 100%. In fact, actually, we could take our expiry date, make our title 66%, our expiry date 33%. Oops, 33%. And then our salary, seniority, and application link. Let's make those 33, 33, and 33. Alright, so then we've got our bard. And I think that covers us for now. We'll need to add some taxonomies, but we'll do that in a moment. So we'll save that. And that's our job blueprints done. So we'll now do our taxonomies. So we will want a locations taxonomy and a this is weird. Go to there, I guess, to give it a new one. Oh, there we go. And we'll create a roles taxonomy as well to hold our things like front-end developer or data scientist or back-end developer or .NET developer or whatever we're going for on this particular instance. So now we'll come back into our collections and we'll hook our jobs. If we configure, sorry, I should have clicked the dots. We'll configure our jobs to have a content model in here, locations and roles. Don't need tags. Perfect. Save that. Notice we don't have a root or a mount at this stage, just like to point that out. What we do need to do is come into, I missed pages and hit posts. We'll create our page just like we did with our posts to house our jobs. So this is why we don't need to create that jobs index template. Jobs, we don't need any content, that'll be fine. We'll save and publish this as it is. Perfect. Now we'll go back to our jobs collection, configure the collection, and we can now set up our URLs. So we'll mount it on jobs, and we'll give it a root just like we did before, where we use the handlebars to pull in the mount and the slug of the job as its URL. We don't want to enable AMP. I'm not even going to cover it. Simple as the fact that that exists. I mean, don't even at me on it. I don't want to be changed. That thing needs to go. I hate it, and I will not be. I will not be changed on that opinion either. There is no way that AMP is a good thing. Right. Anyway, we have our jobs set up, and within our jobs blueprints now, it didn't notify me, Chris. I don't know what you're talking about. Within our jobs collection now, in our blueprints, we will have some mystery fields. We've got 2 new fields, locations and roles. And the same thing happened with tags. The only difference is I didn't show you that. Now these are automatically added. I have noticed a couple of issues with them in regards to if you change the name The handle might be okay, but if you change, if you change the handle, it basically makes new ones of them every time, which is a little bit annoying. It doesn't have any kind of tracking on that. But yeah, just something to be aware of. But these two taxonomy fields now have been added so that we can add a location and a role to any job. So we'll do just that. Let's create our first one. Cool. For ease, let's just copy our existing example job. So front end developer role at Example Studios. Expiry date, we'll set that in the future. So we'll go with December the 31st. A salary of 35k. A seniority of mid. And an application link. I think it's just a mail to on this one. So we'll just copy, that's annoying. We'll just pop it in ourselves. Mail to info at Norfolk developers.com, and then we can copy paste our content out of here. All right, that was somewhat easy. Yeah. Now, because it's small and because Statamic is mobile friendly, including the control panel, it's all started to compress down. So we've got tabs now with our sidebar in it, but we can remember this. Even I can probably remember that we need to set up a Norwich and a front-end developer role. So nice and big again, and we'll get our sidebar back. So we can type in Norwich, and we'll create that. And roles front-end developer. Click that. Created. Perfect. Now maybe roles should be a singular. And locations could potentially be multiple, because we might want to be able to do something like that. In fact, we should definitely do something like that. But anyway, the role might be singular. I can't think of any reason why you'd want to put more than one in there. Perhaps, I don't know. We can make it singular. Should we make it singular? Probably should make it singular. But anyway, save and publish, and we will have our first job on the website. We click here and click view. Completely blank. Perfect. That's what I like to see. We're not seeing a 484. We're just seeing blank. We just need to create our templates. So we scaffolded it out. So now in Sublime, within our resources/views directory, we have a jobs directory with show.annndd.html in it. And what we'll need to do eventually is create our two taxonomy directories. But for now, let's get cracking with creating our page. So what does it look like? Where is our front-end developer role? Let's dump it in. We are extracting taxonomies within our title here, and salaries, and all sorts really. So let's pop our title in. I'm actually going to mark it up this time. So we'll bring in our job title, and then in a span, because we're going to do it in a different color, let's just for now, is it E? A for American. All right. And then we can drop in our fields. So we've got a bracket, or two brackets for that matter. We want to extract any taxonomies here. And in this instance, we want them to be, we don't want them in a list. We just want them kind of comma separated. So just in case we want to do that again, and because you know by now that I'm a bit of a sucker for partials, I'm partial to a partial, we will add a taxonomy partial here to provide us with, similar to our listing, a comma separated inline list. So we'll create a new taxonomy here. We'll call it inline.antlers.html, and we can somewhat copy our information from here, not into our tab. We'll paste it into here. So I'm probably going to wrap it with a span, and then another one, finish our span, and then more spans. We're going to want to bring in our slug, this time without the hash. Now, whenever you're looping in Statamic, it will automatically give you a bunch of helper variable things. So it will give you a count, it will give you an index, and it will give you a first and a last. I think that's right. But, of course, as per usual, we can use our dump tag to find out. So we'll go over to our show handlers, and let's pull in up our partial. So that will be the partial colon taxonomy dot inline. Now, there's one extra thing we need to do here, and that is we've used the term tags here, and that is not the name of it within our scope here. It is called locations. So what we can do is actually override or pass into our partial the jobs variable, and we'll use the binding method again, and we'll pass that in jobs as not jobs, sorry, tags is what it's expecting to receive, and we will pass in whatever it is here. Locations. Good grief, my memory has gone to complete kaput. Cool. We'll just finish our spans and our H1, and we will jump back and prepare for it not to work, as I always do. So where are we? Front-end developer role. Well, that appears to be a dump, and that is exactly what we were expecting. So this is the dump that's coming from our inline. Okay, so we should have, there we go, our count, our index, the total results, the first and the last. So what we can say here is we want to add a comma, right? So you could say if, or I'm just going to jump on with it. You can use if to say if something, or if you want to say if not, you can use unless. So unless last, pop in a colon, and then we'll drop our unless, finish our unless. So now we should have our comma separated list of locations, wherever we should have it. There we go. Norwich, remote. Perfecto. That's good. However, what we should also have in here is, as usual, our URL. So we're going to wrap our slug in our URL link, like so. Oops. And we don't want our comma inside of that, so we'll put that just outside. All right. There we go. We've got some awkward spacing going on. We'll sort that out. We've got jobs, locations, Norwich, 404, page not found. As we did before when we created our tag for the first time, the template doesn't exist, so it's going to 404. But let's continue filling out our title for now. We need to bring in some more of those fields, right? So the next field is a slash with a salary, and then a slash and our seniority. So let's get that sorted. So we're in our show antlers, jobs. I think the issue with the spaces is coming from our actual use of spaces within here. So we'll get rid of that now. And we will pop a slash in. Now, something I've seen people do before with this sort of stuff, I'd love some recommendations if anybody knows a good way. What I've seen before is to just add a comment like this, so that you can have that space but not have it in the HTML content. Perhaps, Chris, you've got a better solution to this. I'd be all ears. In order to basically have it look okay in our template, but also have it look decent in not have spaces around those brackets, right? So if we pop this one on here, we should have got rid of some of those spaces, I hope. No. Wow. Well, completely failed that one, didn't I? Any ideas how to best get rid of those spaces without doing that? Oh, we did it with that as well. Is it the A links? Why have I got brackets here? Why have I got space here? Chat's jumping into life with the results, so I feel less bad right now. Perhaps Chris is engaged. We'll leave it as it was then, and we'll fix that when we've got a proper front-end developer in chat. Alright, so we'll put a slash after that, and we'll drop in our salary, and a slash, and seniority. Can't spell. There we go. So our title beginning to come together. We now will need this little strip here. So this is the posted date, the expired date, and the role. Perfect. All right. Now with those, I'm gonna guess you're gonna guess, but I'm going to partialize them. I'm going to put them into partial. We will go for, we don't have one yet, but we will need a jobs dot detail. Detail. We'll go with detail. Make a new folder in our partials directory called jobs, and inside there we will create our new detail field. So detail antlers.html, and inside here we can begin to render out our little bad boy here. So going to copy the whole thing because it's got some emojis in it, and it'd be nice and helpful to hold on to those. We won't grab the classes for now. We'll go through that next week. Alright. Yeah, see, I've got up in here, there's some quotes, some comments inside of the Nordev website. Who knows? Who knows? Alright. So we've got those. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of some of these classes again. This is just nice and naked for now. Array label published. Yep, looks good. About 2 months ago. Why is there a thing between the ago? That was weird. Like that. Like that. Alright, so we've got our emojis back. We just need to start filling these in with actual content from the CMS. Might as well get rid of that class as well. We're just getting getting rid of classes left, right, and center. So we need a human-friendly version of the published date, and I can't remember. Oops, I can't remember remember how it's stored within Laravel right now, in Statamic world right now. So let's dump. There should be a created update. Or is it always going to be updated up? Not too sure. Yeah, I think that's the closest we've got. Sure, I used a different date before. Updated at is our published at date for now. Check into that and I'll get back to you next week. We've got our expiry date. And we have our taxonomy. So, out of curiosity, I've discussed this with yourselves before, the details around looping, right? So when something becomes an array, you need to loop over it. When it's not, when it's a single value, you don't need to. So let's update our model now so that we can just have a single front-end developer role. There we go. So we've got our initial values coming in. So what we'll need to do is come over to our jobs and come over to our blueprint. And let's just see the effect of making this a singular role. Max items 1. Taxonomies roles. Finish. Save. I'm just going to jump in and out just in case it's done anything funky with that. Just a little bit wary of those fields now. So roles, max item 1. Perfect. Right. So now let's have a look at how it's actually coming out. So let's pop a dump in here. And let's see what the difference is between those two taxonomy fields, if there is any difference at all. Where are they? Roles and locations. Where's locations gone? Locations there. Array of 2 roles. Array of 1. Yeah, maybe that's still going to need to be looped over. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not certain, to be honest. We'll find out. I wonder if you can do roles colon. Let's just do roles and see what happens. What are we on? This one? No, unfortunately not. So we're probably going to pass that to our inline generator, and it's because it's not going to put a colon after it because it's the last one. It won't. It'll do a singular. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have a look into that in our in between episodes. That was weird to say because I heard that a few times on Let's Plays and stuff. I'll just finish that off between episodes. Alright, partial taxonomy. I'm already regretting calling it taxonomy inline. And we need to pass it tags colon tags equals roles. Still got a dump. We have a comma. Think you'll find that's a bug. I'm passing that in as tags. Yeah. Is it because it's the first and last that it won't be the last? So in inline now, unless last. Oh, let's put it back in there. So let's dump these out. I don't think it can be first and last. That's a bit rubbish. Oh wait, hang on. That's locations. That's locations. We have a role. Here we go. Okay, so it's not looping. That's a bit awkward. We don't have a the injected roles here, the count, index, total results, first and last. We don't have those, which suggests it's not looping and instead just entering it. We have our role, look, it's the permalink that goes to front end developer role. So this is definitely the taxonomy. Too sure how to handle that. What I might do for now is to remove the max items on the roles. So if we do this and save it, now we should get a first and last. Yeah, look. So it's first true and last true, which means we don't get the comma on our front end developer here. Yeah, that was not ideal. I might pick that up next week. Have a little play whilst you're not all sitting there watching me. Okay, so we've got inline tags rendering. Oh, one other thing I wanted to check actually on this tag. Yeah, it has got a title, so it's got a capitalized version. So I think we'll use that instead in inline. Perfect. So we should now be getting titles coming out. Yeah, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? Capital Norwich, capital remote. Yeah, perfect. Getting there. All right, so that's our title and our details pane done. Now there is a reason for me extracting this details pane, and that is that the details pane is used again. Excuse me. Well, used again on our preview, and we're going to need to build one of those previews now. So. Into our partials, jobs, we've got the detail, and with posts we built a preview, so we'll do the same here. So preview.antlers.html, and then in here we can simply do pretty much the same thing we're doing here. So we're going to drop out the title with the URL, and then we're additionally going to include that partial, which was jobs dot detail. Perfecto. All right. Okay. Are we gonna come back? I think we're back. Oh, I got a green light on OBS again now. Are we back? I think we are. Yeah, apparently my internet's dodging out, which on a day when everyone's chatting about their 300 meg to 1 gigabit fibre is a good laugh. But yeah, enjoy my 60 meg Sky broadband connection. Okay, cool. So, we have now got and established, now established our front-end developer role. We were going to make a preview before I got interrupted by the internet. So our preview's built. Okay, we don't need to build that then. So excuse me. What we do need to build is the rest of our jobs page. So we've done our detail, and now we simply just need to bring in our partial for our Bard. Now, bard.index. That's going to render our Bard field. We'll get it. Quick test. I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, view Bard not found. It's gone for. It's gone for a file. So it's looking for one at the in partials, just a Bard. What about Bard slash? Yeah, Bard dot not found. Yeah. So yeah, Bard.index, unfortunately. And we've got a Bard. Oh, forgot our mail link. So we'll need that. Where do we put in that? Are we putting that above or below the detail pane? Below, in an orange button. We will do the orange button at a later stage. Href, application link. And what did we say? Just apply now? Apply now. Back to our front-end developer role. Perfect. We have our apply now button in place. So now, if I click my either of Norwich or remote, we're going to get a 404. 404 and a 404, and I'll show you how to make a pretty 404 page next week. What time are we at? Maybe this week. And we also don't have a front-end developer role. That's going to 404 as well. And just as we did with our post tags, we need to create our folder within our jobs directory here. So we'll create, we need to create a template. So we need to create locations/show.antlers.html. And we need to create roles show.antlers.html. Perfect. And then again, we're going to do a very similar thing to what we did within our tags one. Going to just loop over these entries. Oops. We'll just copy this in for now. So we'll copy that one over there. We'll drop the hash. We no longer need the hash on that. And we're going to use our jobs preview, not our posts preview. So now we can copy this one across to our locations one. Save that. And we now should have our front-end developer with our front-end developer role, example studios. This is our link through to that one. And then we can jump around. We should be able to go to Norwich and see all jobs in Norwich. We should be able to click through. That's a bit weird that links. But yeah, this is all now clicking through. We've got our lists. We've got our job/role/front-end developer list here. Okay. So yeah, just as we have on the main site here. All right. So magazine, I believe, is next. Unless we have anything further. I don't think you've forgotten anything on jobs. Don't have any assets on jobs. So we don't need to set any of that up. And I think I did create a jobs folder for assets earlier. But we don't need those. All right. So let's create final collection, and that is our magazine collection. And this one is slightly different. And it's slightly different in that it doesn't have an index. It doesn't have a show. So we'll create a collection. We'll create it and name it magazines. And then we'll scaffold our resources. This time we don't need an index or a show. We just need our blueprint. I'll set that up. And we'll drop over to blueprints. Into magazines. Let's see what we need. So over at Norfolk Developers, I don't know why I closed it. ability to click up here anymore? No. Oh, oh, oh. Not going to say it for the 100th time, but I really need to format my laptop. Okay, so magazine has a index page that lists them all, but that's it. There is just a PDF attached to them. Oh, excuse me. So, we need a title, a description, an image, and a PDF. You can do that. Nice and easy. Before I do that, if you bear with it, I shall be right back. Oh, no, I won't. Hello. Right, so yeah, magazines. We need a title. We don't really need a slug. I don't think we do. We'll leave it in just in case we need it at a later stage. It's a fairly unique identifier that's not a UUID. So, we'll create a field. We will hold this one. We'll have as our description field, and we'll just go for a basic bog standard text area. We don't need any markdown in here. Sensible character limit, perhaps 280. Just making things up at this point. Validation is a required field. Get rid of this fine box. Don't know why that's up there. And we'll finish that. We need our image field, so we'll assets, cover image, and we'll just call it cover. In our fields, we're going to select a container of assets, and we're going to link to the magazines folder that we created earlier. And then we're going to say nowhere else, thank you very much. And we're going to say one file on that, just the one cover image. It is required. And we'll finish that. And then what else do we need? We need the PDF, of course. We've got the image, title, PDF, and description. So we'll just add our PDF in. Not too sure what to call it. Call it document. Hidden by default, yes. Container, assets, link existing item, magazines, and then I'm going to restrict it. Say max files 1 again, but come over here and say it's required and it's MIME type by file extension should be PDF. Now that will only check the extension, so you could get around it by uploading a JPEG with a PDF extension, but it's not going to work, so be that as you may. Right, I think that's all of them. So we've got our magazine, we've got our title, we've got our description, we've got the download button. Oh, we've got the download URL. Ta-da! This is nice and easy. So we'll save that. And let's create an entry. Okay. Can't actually click on anything up here at the moment. Again, this has happened more in this stream than it's happened in Wings. Alright, so what's it called? February 2020 Conference Edition. I can probably remember that, and I'll copy that one. February 2020 Conference Edition. And of course, if you have not read the February 2020 Conference Edition of our Norfolk magazine, do so. I have some printed copies. If you'd like a printed copy of a magazine, let me know. I'll post you one. Cover image. We will grab our cover image from here. So save images. Go back to there. We probably want to download the PDF as well at the same time. Oh, brilliant. Where's the download button? There it is. Number 2. Yeah, it's right there. I'll get it out there. So browse for a cover image. And notice 0 of 1 selected, and we've got nothing in there at the moment because it's obviously directing us to the. Oh, that's out of 1 as well. We got the other one of those somewhere. Oh, good grief! This is one of the reasons I'm formatting my PC. Have you ever seen a more ridiculous ridiculous downloads directory? There we go, JPEG. So that's our cover image set. That's our cover image set. Why is it not? Yeah, must have forgotten a button there. And then we'll come in here and we'll upload our PDF. There, is that it? Oh, Dev Mag 2020 PDF. Yeah. Perfect. And we'll select. That's what I didn't do. Selected it. Select that. Nice little PDF icon for that one. And now we save and publish. And that's our February 2020 Conference Edition magazine added. Alright, so as with before, and literally like as with before, I've clicked the wrong thing. We need pages, and we need to create a new one, and we'll call it, is it magazines or magazine? Can't remember. Magazine, singular. Oh wait, it's Nordev magazine is a slug. Okay, so we'll call it magazine, and its slug is going to be Nordev dash magazine. Is that right? Yeah. All right. Do we have any content in here? Yeah, we do. Okay. Save and publish. Okay, so that's our magazine index page built up. Now we'll just need to pop back to magazines and then into edit, and you know the routine by now. Go down to the content model. Doesn't have any taxonomies, but we're wanting to set up some routing. Yeah. So it's going to be mount, oops, the right slash preferably, and then slug, and then we're going to link to an existing item, and it's going to be that magazine page we've just created. I'm going to hit save, and then additionally we're going to come into our, I can't click on anything now. What's going on? So my keyboard works now, but if I click anywhere, it doesn't click. I get this all the time. I don't know what's causing it. What a pain in the... Right, bear with, I'm going to drop out again for a moment. And we're back. click on things. Alright. Okay, so I've distracted myself again. I can't remember what I was doing. We've added mouse lag. That's it. Oh yes, sorry, right. The other thing that we always need to do when setting up a mount in Statamic 3 is to come and update the page and suggest it has a mount on it. So here, anywhere really, inside of our front matter, mount is magazines. Save. Close that. Now save that. Our magazine. Oops, that's not actually our magazine. Our magazine page should now be loading our magazine, or actually, it probably won't be, for one reason and one reason alone. Can anyone guess why this is not going to load? Whew, excuse me. I'm not going to click this button because it's going to give you a clue. There's a reason this isn't going to load. I'm going to hit the visit all button. Magazines.preview has not been found because it expects our fairly routine format now of having a partial in here named after the collection magazines, and then a file in there it's expecting called preview. And again, let's not beat about the bush, let's go and grab best part of our styles from this website, right? So this is a single preview of a magazine. We'll copy that, paste that in, grab those two smiley faces that look like an angry face, and probably split it there, like that. Or, not that one. Let's use one of the many prettiers, HTML prettify. Let's prettify a little bit. There we go. And because we're not going to cheat, I'm going to take out some of these classes. We'll leave the structure in place, but we'll just pull out some of these classes. One, so that it doesn't look so busy, so that we can work out what's going on in here. But two, because we'll cover this as one unit at a later stage. All right. So we need to extract our image. Now there is a particular size of cover image we'd like. So let's go and have a look here what size these images are. They are 124 by 175. 124 by 175, yeah. So we'll say we want a glide of the cover. I think we just called it cover. So we're using that glide tag again. And we're going to say height. What do we say? 175. And width 124. We will do a focal crop. All right, and then we can pass all in those variables into our image tag. So we can say URL height equals the height that it's actually cropped it at, and that should be 175 by 124, or 175, and then this should be 124, and then an alt tag. What we'll do in here, we could use the alt tag from the image, but instead I'm going to pump in, have we got a title here? Yeah, we've got a title here. I'm going to pump in title from the magazine. So that'll be like February 2020 conference edition in this instance. We do not need to finish an image, we need to finish a div, we need to finish a cover, glide cover. Okay, so that's our image loaded in. We'll now need to drop in our title and drop in our description. Now with the text area fields, where are they are. Not on there apparently. Oh, why have we got? Oh, that's the magazine post. Okay, sorry. Magazine page. So on here we have a text area, and what will inevitably happen is your client will come along and do this, and there's good reason, with good reason. Why would you not do that? That's a great idea. Space it out, etc., etc. If you would like to support such endeavors, there is a pretty handy little modifier that you can use. Now, we haven't touched upon modifiers yet, and this will be our first. So we can pass in description just like this. And what I'll do is I'll save this with its, in fact, let's make it even more crazy. Let's just put enters around everything. All right, save and publish. That's saved. Now, if we go back to our magazines.preview is broken page, we have our magazines.preview now. So if we refresh, there it is. But what you'll notice is the text area here, no enters, no spaces. And that's because it's just a basic new line, and HTML is not going to recognize that. So what we can do is we can use a modifier, and in order to do that we pipe it. So just like you would on the command line, on the Linux command line, you pipe the variable into something else. So we'll pipe it to our modifier, and this particular modifier is the NL2BR modifier. New lines to BR elements, BR tags, or the break tag in HTML. And now if we save and go back and refresh, we restored our text breaks. Excellent. So we'll do that. And I might just bring this in, like so. And then finally, we would like our PDF. Now, obviously, we're not going to pass it to Glide this time because it isn't actually an asset, and I don't think it will like. It's not going to particularly care for us giving it a PDF. So we're going to just echo out the URL, which will be it as its native. So a transformer will just take that field and be like, oh, well, you want it rendered in HTML, you just want the URL version of that. So what do we call it? Document. Like so. And we're going to pass the download or download true or whatever to it, the download attribute. Not that it seems to work at the moment, that's why it's kind of dropping in download in there. I wonder if it's download. Refresh. And here we have download. But yeah, it is download equals download. I wondered whether that was the case. If you refresh now, I hit download. Okay, whatever. Doesn't work over here, did it? No. It opens it. I'm pretty sure they got download equals download on them. Oh, download on its own. There, cool, yes. Well, this is downloading it now. That's probably why I've got so many copies of that PDF on my computer. So we have our magazine index. And we have now established our jobs collection, our magazines, our pages are all linked up and mounted, and we have our posts from last week. We've set up all our blueprints, we've set up our taxonomies. This feels like a good stage, a good moment to call it. What we could do very quickly, if you would like, is a quick cover of navigation. So, on the Norfolk developers website, as with every website known to humankind, we have a nav. In this instance, we don't have a secondary, we don't have a footer nav, we've only got one nav. You've only got one nav. Yeah, I'm not going to make up songs again. We can use the navigation entry or the navigation content here to create that primary main navigation, and then it will simply allow us to add links. So, here we go, sorry. We need to, you need to tell it which collections we're allowed to link from. So if we put pages in here, that should be enough, and we'll also say that they are only allowed to one level of nesting because we don't want submenus. So we'll go back to main now, and now we should be able to link to an entry. Here we go. So now we should be able to pick out our navigation. So posts, jobs, code of conduct, magazines, about. I don't think we've got a code of conduct page yet. We've got a posts, jobs, code of conduct, jobs, code of conduct we don't have, magazine, and an about page. Select. There's our navigation. We can, if we like. Oh no, we can't because I've put it on one level of depth. If you didn't have it on one level of depth, you could move them underneath each other and create an actual navigation, actual menu. And then this is pretty easy to echo out onto the header. So in here, there's a nav, and you can point it. Where is it? I swear it was the nav tag. Maybe it's not. Let me just check here. I thought this would be quick. It is just the nav tag. Why does this look so weird? Oh, I missed it. So this, if you wanted to, this links is the name of the menu that you've created, the navigation. If you want, you can not do that, and you can just point it at the collection itself, and it'll still form you a navigation. So depending, it's up to you basically. If you want your nav just to be based on the pages that are set up, then you can do that, and then they don't have to copy and paste it, or sorry, they don't have to maintain it in two places if they do make a new page, or you can do it off this nav. So we can pull that in if we go into our layout, and we'll just make a simple header here that will have a nav item in, which will have an ordered list, which will have our nav in it. And so we'll do nav :main, and we'll say li ahref url. Oops. And then we'll pass in the title of the item, finish the li. Oh, my cursor's going all over the place. Finish just copy this down, put a slash in the front. Wish my highlighter would do that. Oh well, nav header. Now we should have, there we go, our posts, jobs, magazines, about us, navigation. All ready to go. Perfect. Look at that. 13:59. Couldn't have timed that any better if I'd have tried. Because I didn't. Okay. So it's ugly, but we've got all of our collections in. We've got our taxonomies. We're messing around with the assets. We've messed around with glide. We've done with our taxonomies. So next week we'll be integrating a build pipeline. So adding your SAS, adding in this instance Tailwind. So we'll be pulling in Tailwind in via SAS, to be fair, I think, and then we'll be using what's called Laravel Mix to combine all of those assets and stick them in our public directory for users' consumption. So yeah, next week we'll be making it look pretty. I think that'll probably be the majority of week 3. And then week 4, like I say, we'll be looking at some of those special parts. We'll be making a static site export. we'll be looking at Git integrations. And there was something else on that list as well, and I cannot remember it. But yeah, look forward to that. Next Wednesday, again, 12 o'clock. It will be the 18th? 18th of November, something like that. 12 o'clock on the YouTubes. I will publish it in a moment, so you can hit the remind me button if you like. Thanks for sitting through and listening to me bumble on about Statamic. Any questions? I'm obviously on the Discord or on the Twitters, Elysian. Fire them across. Happy to jump on like a call or do some live streaming, pair programming if you've got a problem. I'm going to, as I did last week, leave you for the last few minutes with our Patreon slide. Just listing off our awesome patrons. We've got 2 new patrons actually this week. One's a returning patron, Amy, and we also have a new patron, Pedro. So my thanks to you two, and also my thanks to existing patrons as well. So yeah, hope you're having a marvellous day. Have a great afternoon, and I'll catch you either on Friday at the Nordev Social or on Wednesday at the... Oh! Nearly forgot. We've got an event on tomorrow night. Nordev Lean Coffee PHP. Looking forward to talking about the new PHP 8 release. Although I've got mixed emotions on that one. If you'd like to come and chat about Statamic, or if you'd like to come and talk about whatever it is you're using to build your CMS with, come by, drop by. It's on the meetups, 7 o'clock, Lean Coffee. It won't be on the YouTube. We do it private on Zoom. So yeah, join us there. Be good to see you. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you with our marvellous patrons and bid you adieu. See you later.